Hey everyone, Darren here on Sunday, March the 8th. Before we start, as we usually do, please take a minute and look at the legal disclaimer. As you know, I'm compelled to actually post it with every video in case any member of the public should chance on the video. It helps actually eliminate any liability I might face. So please take a minute and take a look and read through it. I suspect most of you are familiar with it by now. Okay, so moving now to the chart. Before we start, for optimal viewing, you want to go to the bottom of the YouTube video and click on the settings icon, which is the little wheel next to the full screen icon and cinema mode icon, and you want to pick the highest resolution, which is either 360p or 480p if available. Do not leave it on auto. That will ensure that you get the best viewing quality available for the video. Then after you've done that, you want to actually press on the full screen icon to get a large picture of the video. With that, why don't we begin? We're looking here at a weekly chart of the euro versus the US dollar. So every yellow price bar here is the price action for 1 week. So before looking at what's happened over the past week, let's just go back and look at what's transpired over the past few months. As I warned all of you and mentioned back in the summer, the euro got under the midline of the super trend, the midline being these gray bars, these gray crosses here. We got under them on the week of July 25th at a price of 134.29. So ever since we crossed under the midline of the super trend, the euro was deemed to be quote unquote unhealthy. And as such, I began really preaching caution towards holding euros. As we can see, since that time we've headed down well below the midline of the super trend. Looking at our price bar indicator, again, ever since that cross under the midline of the super trend, we've been on red bars and below the yellow midline for the price bars. Being on red bars, so sellers in control firmly throughout, and since that time, we've had our occasional green bar where buyers emerge for a couple of weeks, like right here in October, but below the midline, so we don't read anything into it. Much ado about nothing. We had the same thing a couple of weeks ago, and again, well below the midline, the yellow line here. So again, again, inconsequential bar. And finally, in the week before last, I had mentioned that we saw some very big selling come back in, and we closed at a price of 111.93, but we closed towards the bottom of the bar and close to the lows of the week. And we saw some real selling reemerge in the euro. And I mentioned at that time, as you know, in the last video, that we were virtually sure of seeing a test of the lows registered 5 weeks ago at 110.95. Sure enough, we went and tested the level and broke it in a very, very convincing manner this last week. Again, with some very, very strong selling, closing on the lows of the week, a full 2.5 figures below that week, that low registered 5 weeks ago. So very, very bearish from a technical standpoint. Looking at the other indicators, our composite, well, again, below the pink line, so negative. Our trend filter still riding the red line with the blue dots riding the red line, so negative as well. Our proprietary relative strength indicator below its midline, so also negative, and a reading of -1 on our intermediate term momentum, so negative there as well. Now, looking at what's happened over the past week and having broken these lows, I would expect some continuation action to transpire over the coming weeks, with parity now probably acting as a magnet to the price. So we're probably going to head down to parity, and then that's going to be our next quote unquote battleground. They'll try to bounce it off it. If it holds, we might get a rally. If it doesn't, we'll probably see levels well below parity. But that's all conjecture and speculation on my part. As I always say, follow the money. Opinions don't count, but buying and selling does. And right now, the sellers are firmly in control. So caution is warranted in the euro. Would not try to bottom fish it or try to pick the turn at all. Stay well clear of it for the time being. No bottom in sight. I will update you on a need-to-know basis, and certainly towards the end of next week. With that, have a good week, and talk to you later.